Hello everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Me, My Self-Help and I. And today we have a special guest. We have Sanj. Sanj is a renowned mindset mastery coach who has helped countless individuals unlock their full potential, overcome personal barriers, and truly transform their lives. Sanj's approach is quite unique. It's using self-help and personal development and challenging some of the conventional thinking as well. So he dives deep into the power of mindset, resilience, actionable strategies. So it's very user-friendly. So without further ado, welcome Sanj. How are you doing?
Hi, Nikhil. How you doing? I'm good. So I'm Sanj. I've been a coach for about 5-6 years now. I'm loving this journey, but I mean, it hasn't been an easy journey, which again comes down to the mindset. So at the moment I'm a coach. I'm building this up. Well, I've got a 9 to 5.
Wow.
I've got a podcast. I've got a couple of Facebook groups as well, which I'm building up. And all of this is just because I actually want to help people. Going down this path of personal development really helped me. It changed my life. I changed a couple of people's lives. And then from then, it's just snowballed. And I love what I'm doing. I enjoy it. And even when I'm not intentionally doing it, I'm still doing it, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, that makes perfect sense. So just before we kick off things, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So before we dive into all the things you just talked about, what's a daily ritual or habit you swear by that sets the tone for your day? So like something which you do, it's a non-negotiable.
Gratitude. First things first, gratitude. First thing in the morning, I wake up. I've now got to a point where I don't need to write it down, but before I used to write down 3 things I was grateful for. But the first thing I do, as soon as I'm kind of conscious, I think of 3 things I'm grateful for. At first, I noticed it was big things. It was always like, I'd be grateful for my family, my house, just my health and things like that. But over time, you realize the saying that the more you appreciate, the more things appreciate. So I started to appreciate smaller things like, the fact actually I've got stuff to do today. Yeah, the fact that I'm actually in a nice position where I've got my wife supporting me, which while I'm working a 9 to 5, being a husband, being a dad, being myself, and I'm trying to be an entrepreneur as well. Yeah, so gratitude is a non-negotiable. If you want to change your life, that's the first, I would say. Wake up every day with gratitude, go to bed with gratitude, because it puts yourself in a positive state. What you're focusing on, you're not forgetting that there's negative out there. You're just choosing what you want to focus on in your life.
Wow, that's powerful, man. My question to you, when did you start this practice?
Oh, so this one I started probably about during lockdown, probably at the very beginning of lockdown, maybe April, May time, 2020. Yeah, I got into this practice and I just noticed that for the first couple of weeks, I was just doing it because I heard it was a good thing. But then you start to notice and then it compounds, because that's the thing. You don't notice everything straight away. We're born and we're living in a world where everything has to be instantaneous. You're right. Yeah. No. Yeah. So
No, just a little bit of a cough there. That's okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Carry on.
So we're living in a world where everything needs to be instantaneous. We need it right now, and we forget the effect that actually it can't. The first time you attempt to walk, you don't do it. The first time you attempt to ride a bike, you don't do it. The more we grow up, the more impatient we get. Like when was the last time, and this is a question for you, when was the last time you sat through adverts that you didn't have to sit through on the TV?
Can't remember.
It's a good one though, isn't it? Yeah. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. It took it took a couple of weeks before I started noticing more and more. But then yeah, my whole day starts getting better. So then from gratitude, I then created a morning routine about being happy and being energized in the morning. And then it works. I wake up, I'm happy. And even if I had a bad night's sleep, I'm still better than what I used to wake up. I'm not as negative. I'm not as groggy. I'm waking up. I'm still happy. So for me, that's a big win because it sets the tone of your day.
Yeah, this is so relevant. And I mean, gratitude in the self-help space, it's been there for a while. But what is your take on gratitude? Do you have to, I know you touched upon it, you said, do you have to write it? Do you have to recite it? Do you have to affirm it? Is there a specific way in which you practice it? Because there might be people here who maybe don't even know about it, or there might be people who have been here for a long time. So for those who are starting out, what is your kind of recommendation or advice?
So if you're starting out, the first thing I'd recommend, write it down. I'm a big fan of writing anything down. I got paper all over the place because I find that when you write things down, you get it from your head onto the paper and you can see it in a different perspective. When you see things in a different perspective, you can tackle it in a different perspective. You can look at it differently. When it's in your head, it's all jumbled. So if you're first starting off in it, I'd say write it down. And if you want to actually increase the happiness and positivity in your life, whenever you feel yourself getting negative, write down 3 things you're grateful for throughout the day. It can be on a post-it note. You can think it, but if you're starting out, I would recommend writing it down.
All right, let's do it now. So let's do it now. What are the 3 things you are grateful for?
3 things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to be here with you today because it's taken a couple of weeks, but we managed to arrange it. The second thing I'm grateful for today is the fact that I actually managed to sit down and read the book that I've been really wanting to start, Psycho-Cybernetics. And the third thing I'm grateful for today is the fact that it was a nice day when I was walking to and from work. I had my music on and I was just at peace. I was just enjoying life. I wasn't worried about what was coming up, what had gone on. I was just enjoying where I was and how I was. What about you?
For me, yes, absolutely. I'm so grateful for sharing this space with you and your kindness in joining this. So thank you for that. So grateful. Secondly, is actually I was a bit anxious the whole day. Like, okay, how do I prepare for this? And what do I feel like? I was feeling anxious. So what I did was, instead of just trying to fight it, I actually went for a walk. I went to play some cricket and just said, yeah, I can be anxious and play cricket. So grateful for the opportunity for me to be able to spend time doing the things I like. And thirdly, I love coffee. So I'm grateful for coffee in the afternoon, which helped me not fall asleep. If I fell asleep in the afternoon, this conversation would have been trickier. So yeah, I'm grateful for coffee. So these are 3 things I'm grateful for. Yes.
And the more you do it, the more you'll notice you've got different things. You'll have more and more things, and before you know it, you'll be looking at the positive side of life in general, just because from doing this one simple thing.
Yeah. So like on the back of that, so you've clearly helped a lot of people, right? So can you share a story that stands out to you, like something that truly embodies why you do what you do? So like something, maybe it's not your client or anything, but something that truly stands out.
Okay. So when I first started this, so the reason I got into personal development was because I just I was just interested in creating some better routines. I was just like, actually, I'm a dad. I want to actually be the best dad I can be. I want to be the best husband I can be. I want to be the best person I can be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not not just for them, but for me, because I know if I'm the best version of me, I'm the best dad I can be. I know if I'm the best me, I'm the best husband I can be. If I'm the best me, I can be the best son, the best friend, the best colleague. And this is what is very undervalued in today's world. People just think, okay, I've got to skate by, but I didn't want to just skate by. So then I started going down this personal development road. I listened to a couple of podcasts, and this book was mentioned called The Miracle Morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me read this. I've read it, and it was from that moment I was then addicted to personal development. I was waking up early. I had a morning ritual. My days were going smooth. I was calmer. I was more collected. I was happier. I was more focused. And then this actually, when I was talking to my friends, was coming across. They were saying your energy is different. You're showing up differently. And then as a result of that, one of my friends was diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately. And then she goes to me, can you help me with my positivity through this? I was like, no problem. Yeah, whatever you need, I'll help you. So I helped her, and just we'd have our calls whenever she was well enough to have the calls. And then unfortunately she passed, but her family came up to me and they said, you made a difference. Whenever she put the phone to you, yeah, you had her more positive, and she was a naturally positive person anyway. So for them to notice even more of a difference, I was like, that's just amazing. That's what I want to help more people. And from there, I've helped. Well, there's been people who have been on the brink of suicide, people on the brink of divorce, people who just want to improve their routines and mindset. And getting these feedbacks, like, just for example, one guy, he was having a lot of marital issues. And within 6 months, him and his wife were back in the same house, and they were planning holidays together. And it's been a year, I think about 18 months since we stopped working together. And I just caught up with him because even though I'm no longer working with him, I still want to check in. I still want to make sure he's doing well and stuff, because it's not just about when I work with someone and then it comes to an end, that's it. No, I've invested time, effort. I want to make sure that this person succeeds in their life. So I checked in and he's like, yeah, things are going fantastic. With our relationship is on point. She's being supportive. I'm being the person I want to be. And she said to me, I'm her Superman again. So when they first started dating, she used to describe him as her Superman, and then lost that for a while. But then now she's describing him as it again, and he's like, it feels fantastic. And that's what I want. I just want to help people live the best lives. There's no point. You get one life. There's no point in skating through it. You've got to control your life. If you want it to be the life you want, you've got to take action. And that's what you're doing now. You want to help people. You want to create this podcast to help people, and that's what you're doing. So you're taking action.
No, I mean, thank you. Thank you for sharing that beautiful story, by the way. That is so powerful. Just hearing what you just said changed my energy. Like suddenly I feel a different person. Like I feel more grateful of being alive. Like we only have this life, as you said, just one life. Right here, right now, it is it. So what is stopping us? What is stopping us is always my question. But yeah, thank you for sharing that amazing story, by the way. Appreciate it. I know it might have been difficult for you, right? Also to understand what someone else is going through.
Yeah, it's never easy, but if you really want to do it, you will do it. And that's what I found. I really want to help people, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, let's discuss your podcast, which was wonderful, by the way. So you started it, I think, in July or last year, April 2023 or something, and it's going on since then. So many episodes. I went back and listened to your first one, by the way. So don't tell me I don't do research. I listened to your first one, and you ask a really profound question. The first ever thing you said, how long have you been stuck? And that question was your first question, and I was like, oh, straight to the point. And even that question itself started to give me goosebumps, or it started to bring up a lot of things, because I was in the place of stuck, and then it took me a long time to realize I was stuck, and B, I'm coming to a phase where I am feeling like I'm going into a rut or a stickiness. So that question, just as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, this is what I needed to hear right now. And the question for you is like, what prompted you to start this podcast, which is called Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life, correct?
Yeah.
What prompted you to take that step, and why did you ask this question first?
So my whole ethos when it came to this podcast was I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them were really long, hour and a half. Yeah, and I was like, that's great. There are some shorter ones, but there's a majority of them are quite long. And I was like, okay, that's great, but I'm a busy dad. Yeah, I may not have that hour and a half to sit there and listen to something and have all this information, because as well, with a long podcast, it ends up being one of those where you have to sift through the information to get out the bits you need. And as you listen to the first one, it's only 10 to 15 minutes. That's as long as my podcasts run, because I want to make it short, action-packed, and actionable. And the reason I started with that question specifically was because, as you said, it hit you profoundly. It gives you goosebumps, because you don't know and you don't realize till someone asks you the question that you are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when someone opens your eyes to the fact, hold on, am I stuck? Do you actually think of things from a different perspective? You start actually thinking to yourself, whoa, I've been on this hamster wheel for, say, 5 years and nothing's changed. I've been, say, for example, I've been doing the same things day in, day out, and nothing's changed, or I'm not helping anyone, or whatever it is. Yeah, and this is the problem that a majority of people do. They get up, they go to work, they get home, they watch their Netflix, eat their dinner, go to bed, start again. And the life now, compared to 5 years, is not going to be much different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll see the same people, they'll do the same things, they'll stay within that comfort zone. And that's the comfort zone which will keep you there till you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a saying that, I can't remember who said it, but most men die at 25.
Benjamin Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember whether it was Lincoln or Frank. Yeah, most men die at like 25 and they're not buried until they're 75. And this is the thing. So many people I know are in that rut. They're doing the same things over and over again. But they don't think about pushing themselves out of this comfort zone. It doesn't have to be daily. It doesn't have to be monthly. For example, this year, I walked on fire. Pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I'm doing Tough Mudder in a month. Yeah, I'm
excellent.
Myself. Yeah, as well as this, I'm doing the podcast. I've got the Facebook group. So I'm constantly trying to add value to the world and try and change people's lives, because I don't just want to be waking up, going to work, being a dad, going to sleep kind of thing. I want to have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that really comes across in all of the podcasts as well. And I think I've listened to a couple of them, and it actually is what you said. It's a very short, snappy, to the point, and you get what you want. So there was one which actually resonated with me. You say about happiness. Your happiness starts with this one thing. Do you know what you said?
self-acceptance.
Exactly. That is right. And that actually, like, you didn't even need to do anything else apart from just say that. That's enough.
Yeah.
Like, it starts with self-acceptance. So just coming back to another question I have is, how do you, so again, there was another podcast session you had which asked definition of success. So how do you define success?
My definition of a success is being able to be happy in life in whatever I do.
Mm-hmm.
Money is great, but money can come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But having, say, a £10 million does not make me successful.
Mm-hmm.
Being a good dad makes me successful. Being healthy makes me successful. Being a good husband makes me successful. A good friend. Helping people makes me successful. Yeah, we again, as I say, the world we're living in is very materialistic. Yeah, and so a lot of people are defining success by just money and materials. They're not thinking of success in their own terms. Whereas some of the guys I've coached, they're like, yeah, I'm not earning this amount of money. And I was like, does that matter to you? And I'm like, what do you want to do? Or how do you want me to live your life? I want to be the best dad. Then money doesn't make a difference. If you've got enough to support your family and do the things you want to do with it, having an extra £100,000 doesn't make any difference. You being there for your kids' birthdays, for their special events, for their school days, whatever you want to be there for, that makes you successful. And so you need to stop measuring and defining success by other people's ruler. Stop measuring it with someone else's rule. Decide what you think makes you successful, and then just act on that. And it comes down to your values, your mindset. What about you? What would you say success means to you?
It's a good question. I've grappled with that question for a while. For me, it is about providing value. That's success. And value in my terms is also success, is what I'm trying to redefine my success, because I don't want to be successful in someone else's eyes. I want to be successful in what I define as success. So I define success as helping as many people overcome limiting beliefs and challenges and flourish. That is my success. Even if I do that with one person, 100 people, 1,000, million, does not matter. That is success. And the problem I faced with that notion is my upbringing and society and conditioning. So whenever I look outside myself, everywhere I see the opposite of that definition. It says, get more, do more, run more, like get a job which pays more, go through the career, what is that, corporate ladder, challenge things. Yeah, so this, buy a house, move into that house. No, then now sell this house. Now buy a bigger house, and then be even more in debt. And then all of that is the success which I have been chasing. And to break away from that is been challenging, and it is a challenge. I have to we have to say that, right? Because it is a challenge because we are kind of, in a way, we have been conditioned to think that way. And then when we redefine our own success, the first thing our mind says is, hello, for 40 years of your life, you have been considering this thing as success. Now suddenly you're telling me this is the new success. So that constant battle with the mind, and that is where I try to work. So that's where my work is. So as a mindfulness-based life coach, my main aim is to bring awareness to the mind and understand that the mind is something you can work with and change over time. So that is what my, like, the success is what I defined as bringing value, and how I'm bringing value is through mindfulness-based techniques and skills. So my question again is, like, how do you think we should break away from those obstacles?
So for me, it's actually learning, as I said, self-awareness. Self-awareness is probably the main thing, because we're living lives externally by what we're wearing. Yeah, we got to have the nicest clothes, the latest phones, the most up-to-date gadgets, etc., whatever it is. So we're living everything externally. But actually, to live a happy and successful life, you just need to be happy. You just need to be happy with what you're doing. And what you were saying about you're told and you're brought up one way, and then all of a sudden you're trying to do another way. I was listening to an audio book, and there was this great analogy that when you cut the head off a snake, the body still writhes around for a while until it dies. And I was like, that is so profound. And it just gave me a whole new perspective. Because when I'm changing my routines, when I'm changing my habits, when I'm changing my mindset, it doesn't mean I do it successfully 100% of the time. There are still days where I'll scroll on my phone more than I want to. There are still days where I may not want to do things, and I'll just be not in the best mood, or a bit just not feeling myself. I'll revert back to the old me. So I'll pick up, say, the crisps, and I'll binge on a bag of crisps or something. I'll still fall into those old habits, but the thing is, I'm doing it less and less and less. So that snake's still writhing around, but it's not writhing around as much. And for me, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. You cannot be perfect 100% of the time. And if you're expecting that, you're setting yourself up for failure, because when you're doing that, you're actually going to end up demotivating yourself, because the days where you're not perfect, you're then going to be really harsh on yourself for no reason. You're not going to think about, hold on, I might say, for example, your aim is to eat healthy. You're not going to think to yourself, hey, I've got 21 meals in a week. I ate 18 of them really well. 3 of them were really bad. No, what you're going to focus on, if you're aiming for perfection, is I ate 3 bad meals in the week. Yeah, that's really bad. And you're going to berate yourself for those 3. And then you're not going to feel like moving on and continuing with the whole healthy eating, because you're focusing on the negative. So,
the negativity bias is something which, I mean, it serves a purpose in identifying things which we need to pay attention to. Very important. But it just consumes our daily life. Every single comment we read or every single email we get, it becomes a negativity, anxiety provoking event, which is why I think we are stuck in that. So I think for me, it is challenging. It is challenging to be changing the mindset. And what are some techniques you use in helping changing a mindset or overcoming limiting beliefs?
The first thing is, it's got to be small steps. So say, for example, like you said, you've been thinking one way for 40 years. If I just say to you, think this total other way, it's not going to work. It's going to work for a couple of days, but your old you is going to come and take over again. So what I found is most productive is small steps actually end up with the biggest results because they compound. And so when you start doing that, when you start taking those small steps, so for example, for me, at one point I used to be a late riser. So I used to wake up as late as possible, say 9, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then after reading this Miracle Morning, I was like, okay, I've got to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I didn't just jump from like 9, 10 o'clock to 5:30 in the morning. No, it was a slow process. It was like, okay, 1 week. Yeah. So then it's like, okay, I can always wake up at 7. So then I was like, okay, 7. Then the week after, okay, 6:50, 6:40, 6:30. And then when you start doing that, and when you're doing that day in, day out, you get those wins under your belt, and you start to notice, actually, I can do it. Because the problem is before you do anything, your body's going to be telling you, no, you don't want to do that. Your mind's going to be screaming at you, like, don't do it. And so you're likely to listen to it. But when you start getting the small wins and you start focusing on them, that's how you're going to change your life. Yeah, my whole ethos is not about I will transform you in, say, 3 months. I will give you the tools and techniques to transform yourself, but it will be small steps and small changes that will actually have a profound impact.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the guys that I coach, it maybe take 2 to 3 hours a week in the techniques I give them, but in efficiency and time back, they end up getting back like 5-6 hours on top of that extra 3.
Mm-hmm.
So then that actually is well worth it. And then some of them get even more. And yeah, I think the lowest someone got was like 5 hours, but that was due to their timing schedule as well. But the most someone got, I think, was about 12 to 15 hours a week. And I was like, small steps and small changes make the biggest difference in your life. And with mindfulness as well, which again, I practice a lot. I like my meditation, my morning meditation and my evening meditation. When I wake up, I do 15 minutes. When I go to bed, I do 15 minutes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you start to learn to focus your energy, which again is something how many people know how to do? How many people sit there, like when you're actually with someone, say you go out for dinner with friends, how many of those friends have their phones on the table? Yeah, still, you're distracted by that phone. Yeah, keep it in your pocket. How many times you sit there, just check your phone for notification? I had a conversation with someone today, and I said, if you want to become more focused, actually close off your whole, turn off all your notifications. And they were like, what? And they just couldn't believe it. And I was like, yeah, turn off your notifications. And what you'll find is you actually can focus a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like if you go back. I was born in 1984. So I grew up without technology, with technology. So I've seen all the changes. And for me, like when I was growing up, there was no technology in the same way it is now. And we didn't have notifications after notifications. We just had like one notification. Hey, it's time for dinner. Come here or else you will not get any dinner. That was the biggest notification.
Yeah.
Stop playing so much, or like don't stop running around. So that was our upbringing. And then when we get these countless of notification after notification, each one is degrading that sense of urgency, actually. So actually you are lacking in urgency because you have got so many notifications, which is taking up so much time. So then the urgent things don't seem as urgent.
Exactly.
And then you end up not doing them or procrastinating because you have other things. And I understand, like the willpower is like a it's a quantifiable. It's like it's certain amount you have in a day, and with all these notifications, etc., your willpower goes, and then suddenly you're reaching for that unhealthy snack because you don't have the willpower now because you have been using it all up.
Yeah.
And so that's such a, like, I don't know how many people will do that. I don't think I have genuinely started to address my issues when I'm with social, when I'm in a social event. I genuinely don't use the phone. But when I'm on my own, I think I'm on the phone a lot. And one reason I'm doing a lot of social media work.
Yeah.
Which is kind of social work in some way. No, it's not. But I find myself going through social media a lot. So is there any tips you have for people who need to be using social media for job, like life, like a life coach like us? What do you suggest we do?
I personally, I've got a screen timer on my phone, so I know how much I'm using a day, and I don't include apps like what's it, Audible or Kindle, because I consider that an educational thing, something that I'm actually reading or learning. But things like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I try and limit my phone usage to under an hour and a half a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm getting close to that limit, I'm there like, okay, fine, one day it's all right. But when I'm noticing I get consistently, I'm going over it, I'm like, hold on, I need to bring it back in line. Because the one way you can actually change what you're doing is by tracking it. So the first thing I do the first thing I see when I unlock my phone is my screen time for the day. So I know how much time I've used on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then there will be those days. So say, for example, I'm doing a bit more research, or I'm doing a bit more editing, putting some stuff out there where I do need to. So again, it's all swings and roundabouts. But if you're not tracking it, you don't know what you're doing. You don't realize how much time is being spent. And it's a good thing to do, because I think one of the people that I was helping, they were saying, I don't know where my evenings go. So I said, put the phone tracker on screen tracker and screen timer, and limit your apps to, I think it was about 45 minutes a day. And then what she noticed was she was using those 45 minutes before she even got home. And then when she got home, she would have to unlock it. And then when she looked at the screen timer, when we went through it and we looked at what she was spending her time on, she's like, that's where my time went. 6 hours on the phone minimum a day. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of time for you to just be sat there.
Yeah. And like, one thing I want to mention, when people listen to this, they'll be like, oh, I don't do as much. Oh, no, I think this might be just one random person. But I am pretty sure. Yeah, exactly. I think I invite everyone who just listen to that, just say, yeah, just go check your screen time and see what's what. Because we might, like, when you hear that, you'll be like, no way I spend that much time. No way. And this is just some exceptional circumstances. People don't do this. I think it's most of us nowadays, especially in the West, not just in the West, even in South Asian cultures. I think everywhere, I think it's similar.
I think 4 hours would be on average what I would expect. And that's just with the people I know. But like now, for example, when I'm with friends, I make sure my phone is away in my pocket. I don't want it out there. I don't have notifications for anything other than my phone calls. So like it takes some time to get used to, but well, trust me, when you do, the amount of focus and the amount you realize, if someone needs to contact you urgently, they are not going to send you a WhatsApp.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they will be calling you. So then everything on WhatsApp, everything on Instagram, on Facebook, on whatever, it's all non-urgent. Yeah. So when you start to actually, when you do a couple of days with no notifications other than your phone calls, you start to realize, actually, that's a weight off my shoulders. Because as you were, your willpower to actually check your phone, when you hear it ding, when you hear that noise, you actually then take willpower to not look at your phone. But if you don't hear it ding, you don't hear it actually buzz or anything, yeah? There's no willpower involved. Well, there will be for a couple of days, I'm not going to lie. It will take you a little bit of time to get used to checking your phone. But then after that, you can be like, actually, this is nice. I can get on with things without constantly needing to worry who's messaging me, who's doing this, who's doing that. Yeah, just be more mindful of phone usage.
Yeah, that is so important. Now, I just want to change topic and ask you one question. What is the most expensive word?
The most expensive word? Oh.
Hint, this is from your podcast. So there was an episode which is Dr.
Because it's been a long time.
No, and I'll give you a clue. It is yes. And what is the most costly word?
No.
Yeah. And can you explain that a little bit? Because I found it very fascinating.
Yeah. So the most expensive word that's costing you is yes. Yeah. And you say yes to everything. Our default is yes, because it's our human nature to actually want to please people. It's actually built within our brains, within the circuitry, to want to actually be part of a community. So we say yes just to please other people. But what you don't realize is, by saying yes to them, you're saying no to yourself. By saying yes to going out for those drinks, you're saying no to going to the gym. By saying yes to spending that weekend, that whole day out at, say, an event, you're saying no to that you time that you really wanted. And you need to normalize saying the word no. No should actually be your default. And then and take a moment, think about it. Because when you say yes to people, you're there thinking, oh yeah, this is great, this keeps them happy. But if you say yes to them now and then say no to them later, they're going to be more annoyed at you than if you said no now and then change your mind later. Yeah. For me, those two words are so expensive.
Yeah.
You forget how much of your life you actually spend saying yes when you want to say no. And again, time is a finite resource. Yeah, we will happily give people our time, but you will be stingy with money. You can make more money. You can't make more time. You can't turn back to last week. You can't give an extra hour. You know what? I'm going to pay myself an extra 3 days. But it doesn't work like that.
Well, unless you are in that movie called Timeless or something. There's a movie where you can trade times. Have you seen it?
No.
It's a dystopian action where I think Justin Timberlake is one of the main characters, and the main currency is time. So all the elite have millions of hours, so they have millions of hours in there, and it's etched in their DNA, so they can transfer it to anyone. And all the socially outcast people, they don't have that much time, so they're fighting for time. It's a good watch. I'm not sure the name. I think it's not Timeless, something else. It's Time something. But it is possibility if you are in a Hollywood blockbuster.
But unfortunately, realize you don't get that opportunity. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
But no, I think also a very expensive word in your life saying is, I can't. and you would know this, that doing mindfulness, limiting beliefs. I can't is a phrase that I do not like. And
Mm-hmm.
even with my kids, I try and show them, rather than I can't, I try and say, I need help doing this, or I can't do this yet.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
When you say I can't, that's the end of the conversation. You say I can't do this yet means that there's still an opportunity.
Yeah.
And the phrase I can't is costing a lot of people, because they just say that I can't do it, end of story, and then
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to. Yeah,
Yeah, that's so. That is the
you believe you get to keep them.
yeah, yeah. That is a wonderful saying. Actually, I like that. Yeah, you get to fight. No, you get keep them if you fight for your limiting beliefs. Yeah, that's so pertinent, and it's so true in like meditation and mindfulness as well. Like people often say, "Oh, I can't meditate," and that is not true. You haven't found the right meditation for you, and meditation doesn't mean you just have to sit in a corner and like in lotus position and
Yeah,
just do what the Tibetan monks do. It's not. There's so many ways you can meditate. You can meditate with uh, dance. You can meditate to music. You can meditate to breath. You can meditate to movement. You can meditate to a lot of things. So that it's coloring, and that's a big thing. So it's just coming back to that. It is you haven't found the right one
exactly.
for you. So keep looking is my takeaway from that. Keep looking, keep searching. You will find it.
100%, 100%. You only fail when you give up.
Yeah, that's true.
Failure or falling is not the end of it. Yeah, when you stumble, you get yourself back up. Again, I use a walking example. Can you imagine if you tried to walk, you didn't walk, and you're just like, you know what? Now this walking thing isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, just at some point we're conditioned to think of falling down or failing as a bad thing, but it's not. It's a way to learn. It's how you're actually going to improve yourself. You're not going to improve yourself if you don't try it. So,
yeah, the young humans amongst us, they know it. For the kids, they know this. They know the secret. They've been doing that ever since they were born. They were like they're trying all sorts without you even paying attention. They were trialing and erroring all the time. And then they turned out fine. They turned out into us.
Yeah, exactly. But then at some point along the way, we got scared of that thing.
Yeah. So how easy is it to start to accept failure?
I'm not going to lie, it takes some time. But when you actually realize that it doesn't kill you, you become a bit easier with it. Because at the end of the day, the main thing about failure is you're worried what other people are going to think of you. You're worried what other people may say about you. But what they think of you and what they say about you, first of all, it's none of your business. Second of all, they'll say something whether you like it or not. You could succeed and they'll still say something. So why are you worried? If you're never going to please everyone in this world, please the important people, the ones that actually mean something to you, yourself, your kids, your spouse, whoever. Yeah, but whoever means something to you, make sure that it's actually them you're working for, improving yourself for, not for just the guy you want to impress because you've got a better car than them, a better watch than them, and all that. No, that's going to mean nothing. Yeah, you're becoming the best version of yourself. That's the way you change your life.
So true, so true. I think, well, we've covered a lot of topics. It's almost an hour. How would you think we end it here? I think it might be good, right? Because I don't want to drag it on because it is a long session and obviously we are talking a lot of really important issues. So I don't want us to just brush up. But like I have many other things to discuss with you, but I don't want to just brush up on it rather than giving it the full attention it deserves. So I think it's the right time to just take a breather, and we can call this like the part one or something.
Yeah,
And then we can come back again to deep dive further into a couple topics which I really want your thoughts is as a South Asian, as a person of non-white ethnicity, how important is this showing ourselves up for our communities? And that's one discussion I would like to have. Like, how is it receptive? How is it received within? Like, I'm originally from India, so how is it coming across in Indian cultures? Are they open to learning and developing and growth, or are they still stuck in that the phrase you used? What is that? You die at 25 and you get
very nice. Very
95.
Yeah.
And how do we navigate the challenges we face in this is something very interesting for me. And if you are also willing, we can chat about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Yeah, I'm happy to do it today, or if we can do a part two and get a real deep dive on that one, because that I find a very interesting topic. That one has been quite eye-opening for me, actually.
Oh,
It is one of the things that I've noticed very big differences when it comes to mindset and this on this topic. So yeah, between the Western world and people over in Asia. So yeah, I'm happy. Do you want to do it now, or should we do it? Do you want to save it for part two? Because I think that'll be a long conversation.
yeah, it'll be long, and yeah, I think
Let's save it for
we
part
will save it. I mean, it's a good idea. Just leave it cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Good idea.
yeah.
Hopefully the listeners will come back. But anyway.
Yeah. No.
But no, thank you for so much, Sanj, for sharing so many insights with us today.
No what?
And I'm really, really amazed at the progress, and the stuff you do out there is amazing. So keep going, keep sharing, keep helping people, keep driving this wonderful mindset mastery. I think I really, even like having chat with you, I think I've taken away a few things which I can really incorporate in my own practices. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Let me know how they go.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, yeah. Until next time, take it easy.
You too. Yeah, and speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Appreciate it. Take care.